Hello everybody, this is DeanoGTO, and this is, well, one of the replays I've had in the, WZ-111 1.4. So this is the Tier 9 Chinese light tank. I'm used to playing WZ-132, yeah. This is the Tier 9 Chinese heavy tank. Well, you wouldn't exactly think this is a light tank, although it's not a slow tank by any stretch of the imagination. This thing, the comparison to the D10 is inevitable, and honestly, this thing overall, armor-wise, is probably better than the D10, but it does have its weaknesses in the form of its kind of crappy engine power. 600 horsepower for a 48-ton tank isn't great. Well, I say 48-ton tank. I think 48 tons is the maximum weight of the machine, and yeah. This thing, I think this thing's fully upgraded is actually lighter than the T10 stock, so this thing is actually surprisingly light for a heavy tank. It does have 120 millimeters of frontal armor, but as I said, it's actually really, really light for a heavy tank. It's kind of odd. I mean, it still has decent armor. I think it's 80 side and 120 front. 120 front's only really effective if you're using the lower plate hold down. So yeah. Oh well, using the tank when hold down with the lower plate covered. Yeah, was going to try and get a shot at the Borsig there, but unfortunately it didn't work out. Black Prince though, this gun works on this tank. Like, I don't know what it was about the 110. The 110, this gun fucked me over so many times, but on this tank here, it feels like a really, really good gun. I really like using it on this tank. And yeah, M41 Bulldog just did surprise the shit out of me. I didn't expect them to be there. And here's where reusable consumables are so fucking good. The ammo rack on this thing, if you've ever driven the Tier 8, the WZ-111 Tier 8 Premium, you know the ammo rack on that tank is not exactly strong. At least it doesn't get set on fire frontally. That's one good thing. Yeah, this tank, its ammo rack is pretty weak. No, of course. Every time you see somebody on a kill shot, that happens every time. But yeah, I've actually been having a lot of fun grinding this thing. Even though it's got the stock turret, it is still an AS3 turret, and the AS3 turret's not weak by any stretch of the imagination. But this thing actually, I think, excels at playing like a medium rather than a heavy. Although, well, this isn't exactly going to show it playing like a medium, if I'm totally honest. But yeah, engine's damaged, and this is why I said that the reusable consumables help this thing a lot. Because if this was last patch, then this would have just been me screwed. I would have had no other option other than to just run around the rest of the game with, well, slowly move around the rest of the game with no engine. So yeah, Borsig just got wrecked by my 100mm gun. Did 380 damage. You would nearly think this thing was a 122 with the amount of damage numbers, about 390 that's been putting out. But yeah, this gun, 215 pen, and oh, for fuck's sake, of course, just as I'm about to say it feels good, that happens every fucking time. God damn it. Okay, yeah. 215 pen, but unlike the WZ, or unlike WZ, unlike the 110, this gun actually feels like it's accurate and pin. Okay, I will shut my mouth now because every time I say the gun feels accurate or feels decent, I apparently just get proved wrong with the very next shot, because that seems to happen every freaking time. But yeah, for the most part, this gun feels pretty accurate. It feels pretty consistent. It has like a 7.75 second reload or something like that, 7.7 or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it's a really quick rate of fire for a 320 Alpha gun. It's not quick as the T54s, but this thing does have some advantages over T54, as in the turret is stronger than T54s. And overall, I would say this thing's armor probably a little better than T54s, because T54, it does have 120 front armor, but the 120 front armor on T54 is not peg-nosed, and a lot of people complain about peg-nosed armor after a certain point. Like the IS-7 is probably the best peg-nosed armor in the game, and even that's peg-nosed has some issues. But yeah, as you can see, this game's been a bit of a ride so far, 9-0. That's mental. And and for some reason this thing's a heat magnet. I don't know what it is about the Chinese heavies. Are they just so rare that people don't know that their armor is not that strong? It's decent, but it's not invincible by any stretch of the imagination. Do people just not know that or something? Because I find the Chinese heavies get more premium fired at them than the fucking KV4 and shit like that. And yeah, I'm on 5 kills at this point, 2,700 damage. So yeah, this thing can kick out damage really quickly if you get lucky. And if you are able to keep the gun firing, this is where the higher DPM, or the higher rate of fire on this kind of gun comes in handy. Because if you miss a shot, you have another shot coming in under 8 seconds. So yeah, and versus low armor targets, this thing just monsters them. Like the Chiri is not even looking at me. I'm just gonna finish him off here now. Oh, really? Seriously, Gun? Come on. God damn it. He's a one shot 9 times out of 10 and it rolls for 290. What are the things you troll so hard? Yeah, and as you can see, T-54 completely stock in front of me. No way he has the penetration on his gun, even with APCR, to penetrate me reliably. He can penetrate me with APCR if he gets a good angle, but if I don't give him a good angle, he can't pin me. And yes, as you can see, he's firing APCR, and honestly, T-54 standard, no upgrades at all. It's I can't get mad at somebody firing premium in a T-54 when it's completely stock. It's completely understandable because that thing's gun stock is not very good, and it's not the fastest tank in the world when it's stock either. So yeah, looking for a shot in the IKV. I got one shot off onto him, moving the top speed. And yeah, that was a 15-2 game. I did 4,500 damage, and that's not including any like blind shots or anything I had. 1,300 assistant damage as well. So yeah, I think it's safe to say I like this thing a lot more than the 110. Which is kind of odd, because usually with heavies, they usually feel kind of shit at the higher tier. Well, actually, thinking about it, tier 9s in general are actually pretty good with the tier 8's gun. Well, other than the M103. The M103, though, was just shit in general. And the Conqueror as well. That thing's good when it's fully upgraded, but the stock gun's terrible. But yeah, the E75 handles alright with the 105mm from the Tiger 2. This thing handles alright with the 100mm from the 110. The T10, as far as I'm aware, handles pretty well with the BL9, and the ST1 handles well with the BL9 as well. So most of the Tier 9 heavies, I think, actually handle alright with the Tier 8 gun. And the 5100, or 5120 with the 5100s, 100mm, actually feels pretty good as well. So, thinking about it, most Tier 9s seem to actually do pretty well with their stock, with their grinding gun. But yeah, this thing's gun, I actually kind of like it. I actually like it more on this tank than I did in the 110, which is bizarre because usually you wind up liking the gun on the tank it originally comes with, but hate it on like it less on the higher tiered vehicle. But for some reason on this thing here, I just feel like this gun's way, way, way better. Like, first off, the Chinese gun handling, it feels nowhere near as bad on this tank because it's a tier higher, and the 110. The fucking gun handling on the 110 was on another level of shit. Like, seriously, the 110's gun handling was abysmally bad. Like truly, like, I can't put into words how much the gun handling on the 110 pissed me off. But yeah, before I start rambling on any further, let's go on to the post-game stats. Okay, so I need this relatively quickly because I have to actually go really, really soon. So yeah, that was an Ace Tanker, Top Gun, Steel Wall, High Caliber, 1399 base XP, 47,000 credits made, but you'll see in a second that's not very much in tier 9. So on the team, I came top of the team, over 5,000 damage, even though it's only over by 2, it's still over 5,000 damage. 6 kills, well, because I got Top Gun. 1399 XP, I think I said that already, but whatever. Yeah, easily doubled the next person our next person in the game in terms of damage. And interestingly, both teams' top tank was a WZ-111, even though one was a tier 8. Both of them were still WZ-111, so that's kind of funny. 23 shots fired, 22 direct hits, 18 penetrations, and as I said, 5,000 damage. 3,090 blocked, which is pretty impressive for a tank like this, considering it's kind of like the T10 in terms of how it plays. Damage by assistance 1,300. Not sure what that could be. I assume probably just spotting tanks and just like doing damage or getting spotting damage that way. But yeah, that was a pretty solid game for a 5-minute 57-second game. And I should just mention, only made 6,800 credits in that game because, well, it's tier 9. Tier 9s lose money like nothing normal. Tier 10s are the only things that are worse at. Tier 8 is the last tier where I would say you consistently like make money whenever you're playing. After tier 8, that's where you start losing money, pretty much in every game you play. So yeah, I'm actually kind of curious. What do you guys think of the WZ-111 1.4? Do you think it's like whenever you see one on the battlefield, do you think, oh wow, that guy's committed? Because he's gone down the Chinese medium or Chinese heavy line. Because Chinese heavy line, honestly, I think is probably the rarest heavy tank line to see in the game. Like even the mouse line is just massively more popular, but that could just be short-lived because the mouse is currently OP, or well, kind of OP. Yeah, I would say honestly, if I was to like kind of rebalance the mouse a bit, I would say probably nerf the front turret armor to maybe 250, just so that standard heavy tank rounds can pen it more reliably. Just because, well, it's a wee bit too strong right now, the turret front at least. So yeah, yeah, I was kind of proud that we used this thing while it was still pretty much stock. So yeah, I'm really curious to know what people actually think of these things because I really don't know what to think of them when I see them myself. So yeah, um, I'm actually really curious. Seriously, let me know whenever you see one of these things. Do you think, oh wow, that thing's gonna be a pain in the ass to kill, or do you think, it's an easy damage? Or yeah, I'm genuinely curious to see what people think of them. Um, so yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.